Welcome everybody to Robb's MetalWorks. We are here for the first time in Austin at the Grizzly Hall to check out one hell of a kick-ass tour, and it brings me great pleasure to welcome the man, Julz Ramos of the band called HATCHET. Welcome, Julz. Great to have you for the first time here on our show.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
We are big fans of the band, so we wanted to come up here to Austin and check out the show, check you guys out for the first time, support your latest release. But there's some people, despite even the fact that the band has been around for a little while, that are still coming on to HATCHET, learning more about the band. Share a little bit, for those people out there, a little bit about the history of HATCHET.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've been around for basically about 10 years now. We put out 3 records. There's unfortunately been lineup changes in between each one, which is, being an underground metal band, especially a thrash metal band, is just something that kind of comes with the territory, and that's definitely played a part in us not getting the straight momentum we needed from the get-go. It's kind of been like up a little bit there, up a little bit, and so, there's still people that are finding out about us, which to me is a good thing in a way too, because I always feel like the more lineups, the more people we go through, the people that we end up on at the end of it, I feel like are always the strongest. And again, I feel like this is the strongest lineup we've had, and it's been good. If that answers your question. I lost track a little bit there.
Yeah, we're good, man.
Yeah, cool.
And I was remiss not to say, HATCHET from the San Francisco Bay Area, the birthplace of thrash.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit! So when I first started listening to you guys, yeah, these guys are continuing in the vein of that classic thrash metal. So just really quickly, when you guys first started coming up and breaking onto the scene, coming from the Bay Area, did you feel a lot of pressure? Like, oh my God, I got to maintain the legacy of my hometown.
We definitely did from the get-go. At the very beginning, I was very much a newbie at thrash. I knew, of course, all the bigger bands, but at the time, our singer was more in tune with the underground and the Bay and all the bands that were around then, and he kind of turned me on to more of what that was about. But after I realized it, it was definitely like, wow, and then we got signed and put out records and doing touring. So definitely, and that's a question I get asked all the time about, Bay Area metal, flying the flag. I mean, there's so many bands there, and there's still bands from those older bands that are forming new bands and still playing and doing their thing. They're not touring as much, but all those musicians still live there, and they still intermingle and play, and so there's still a lot of music there. But it's definitely a pride thing coming from there for me, for sure. So.
Wow. And I think since you started taking over on the vocals with the last release, your previous release, I think a lot of people have kind of made some relations to your own vocal style, to like Paul Bailoff and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, I hear everything from Death Angel to, I hear a lot of Destruction and Creator, kind of that more German kind of. Yeah, more of that style,
Good stuff.
It's just kind of what came out, man. I didn't start this band and thinking that I would ever sing. I was always just a guitar player, and, at the end of the day, being the one guy left that was, basically the captain of the ship, I was like, well, I got to try it or sink, and it's probably been the best decision I ever made, so.
So let's talk now about the reason you're out on the road in support of your latest release from the End Records, Fear Beyond Lunacy.
Yeah, man.
Killer release, dude. I've been jamming out to it for several weeks now. I love it. Share a little bit about what you wanted to deliver, because it seems now that HATCHET is kind of really building their own foundation to kind of elevate itself and become a more presence in the national and worldwide metal scene.
Sure. Yeah, man. In terms of writing, I've always kind of been the guy that's been there at the helm writing things, so it's kind of always had the same stylistic approach. Having the musicians we do now, everybody put their flair on it a little bit more, and it's just progressing as a musician, which at some point you find your sound with certain people, and I really think this has been our maturest effort so far, and obviously we're out here on the road supporting it. We have been for it's been over a year now that it's been out, and we've done some cool tours under it. This one's been great too. Flotsam and Jetsam, of course, Hellstar. This is near the end of the tour now. We have, I think, 3 days left with them and a couple dates with Hellstar that are fill-in dates. But no, it's been a kick-ass ride, man, and Flotsam sounds just like they did in the '80s, dude. It's insane. So it's been a really fun ride for us. So just trying to support it.
Before we talk a little bit about the content of the new record, I also kind of want to touch upon what you just mentioned. You got some new blood in the band, and it kind of seems like from what I've seen on video that there's definitely a lot of live chemistry. Share a little bit about who these other cats are in your band. Are they from the Bay Area too, or did you do like a big kind of recruitment effort to kind of seek out the best across the country?
Sure. I definitely did a recruitment thing for our latest drummer because I definitely wanted somebody that was seasoned and knows the ropes of touring and the pros and cons, more the cons of the touring life.
So funny you say that because my camera guy Carlos and his friends are like, all they were talking about is the drumming on this record, that they love it.
Oh really? Okay. Yeah. No. Funnily enough, he was actually one of the first guys to reach out to me because I actually for the first time put out like just a general ad to anybody. I was like, hey, basically try and get the best. And it was this guy who's now our drummer who was on tour with another band that was supporting Onslaught and Artillery, and he was just filling in for that tour. And he was like, hey man, I want to send you a video, but we're gonna be gone for 2 months. And I was like, oh, send it when you get back. I kind of wrote it off. I'm like, I'm gonna find somebody. Dude, I got the weirdest. I got good videos, and I got some that I couldn't believe people sent me, man. Like it was just ridiculous. But yeah, right. And but it ended up working out. It was great. Our guitar player now, Clayton, he's from the Bay Area. Has his own band named Apothecary, and they've been playing alongside Hatchet on different shows for years now. And it was just kind of I'll give it a stab in the dark and see how it goes. Tried him out, and it worked great. And our bass player Devin, he's been from the Bay Area scene for a long time. I've known him for a while, and he actually filled in for us at one time before, and I thought of offering it to him again, and he said he wanted to take the permanent position, and it's been great so far. So
chemistry is really important, man. Chemistry is really important. So let's talk a little bit about the content of Fear Beyond Lunacy. Obviously, a thrash record, lots of heavy riffs, lots of solos, but also I really like about this record, the content, the lyrical content, what it's saying. Share a little bit about Fear Beyond Lunacy. What does that mean?
Well, basically, I'm not the most political person, but I've kind of found an outlet for that, in the music. And I guess for me, the biggest thing, and especially with the election and everything that just happened, and this predates that, my thinking of it, but it kind of just basically goes to my concept of it was, basically just being fearful of media, fearful of the control that different people think they know what's going on with, government and ISIS, terrorists, all this shit, and when we really think about it, everybody is so glued to what's being fed to us from a social standpoint or social media in general, and I feel like it almost creates this craze that sometimes almost isn't even there. And that's kind of like especially true with Americans, I feel, and in this country, that just people are very glued to what's fed to them. And right now, there's a lot of fear with a lot of different things, and to me, it was just something to capitalize on. It was something in a music way, obviously. It just seemed like good lyrical content that was better than just like Satan, death, something a little bit more mature, and it helped push my boundaries. So, it just basically is about that, just fear consumption.
And obviously, because people have just become so info saturated in this day and age, we're glued to our technology, and we're hearing a lot about scary things, because I remember I thought the world was gonna end in 2012, and it did it.
Right? Yeah. See, I was with
my brother wanted to move to Kansas and shit.
Really? See, and I lived through the Y2K thing too. There was that whole scare, and it's kind of that ridiculous, or the killer bees from Africa that still haven't come here in 25 years that I hear about every, shit like that. You don't know what's true these days, and it's like, it's just it's a tangent you can go off on forever, and so it gives me a way to do that without pissing people off or putting my views in people's ear. I'd rather just leave it in the music, man. So that's just kind of where it came from.
Remember, everybody out there, the brand new record from Hatchet, Fear Beyond Lunacy, is out there right now. It came out in October. Brand new music for all you thrash maniacs. Be sure to pick it up, download it, get it in your hands right now. It's out on the End Records, man. And really, I feel like this new release from Hatchet has just kind of really opened a lot of doors for you guys. Are doing bigger tours now, really kind of getting that national attention. What's it been like with Flots and Hellstar? Obviously, two very legendary bands.
Sure. It can almost be a little nerve-wracking just in terms of, we're touring with, Flotsam and Hellstar, again, like you said it yourself, bands that have a legacy behind them for different reasons. And no, it's been great. They're all really cool dudes. Personally, I think Flotsam sounds... We actually did a short tour with them in 2014. It was only a West Coast thing. And from there to now, I even think they sound way better. and they just keep getting tighter. They're doing more. They're going to be working a lot more, and it's just to see that is it's kind of a sense of something to look up to in a way. And
is that more like musically, or more like these guys have had 30-year careers in heavy music?
It could be both, actually, and again, the word career I use that term, loosely. Everybody trying to get out and tour and keep their job, it's hard, and some people in these bands still do that and struggle with that, and I myself, and it's it's hard, but at the end of the day, it's like the most rewarding thing that you really come back from and feel like I did something that was my own. I worked for a month. Might not have made money, but I worked my hardest on my craft and my thing with with people, and it's just it's personally it's the most rewarding thing to do, and these bands have just been great, and yeah, I do feel like the last record has opened up a lot more for us, and there's going to be more stuff coming next year too. Do
you feel like you're reaching new fans? Because obviously a lot of old schoolers might be coming out to see these bands. Are you obviously HATCHET fans are coming out, but are you making some new fans with some of the old schoolers?
We're definitely doing that, man. Yeah, again, we try and put all of our energy into our live show, man. Just everything we bottle up all day in our van and don't get a move and do. It's just like that's when we just let it out, and it seems to be working. So we're going to keep doing it, and yeah.
What does 2017 hold for the band touring wise?
We have another short tour that's going to be happening at the beginning of the year, which I can't announce yet, and then I think we're going to be going to Puerto Rico with DRI. So still waiting for that. That I heard is pretty much said and done, but I'm waiting to see the final thing on that. But so
would the plan be to tour for all of 2017?
No, I think we actually talked about it between our manager and the band, and I think what we actually want to do is we have an option to do the label we were just on the end. Our deal ran out, but it seems like they want to open up the avenue for another one. So we want to actually, again, in this day and age, media saturation, just bands are pumping out albums every 2 years. You have to do that to stay relevant. So I think at least now the plan is after that short tour in 2017, the deal is basically to figure out what the deal is going to be with the record label and try and put out the next thing and hopefully keep the same guys and even push the musical direction even farther. I'm looking forward to it. So
I was one of the lucky individuals to get a copy of Fear Beyond Lunacy with a couple of bonus tracks. Okay. So one of them was Frozen Hell, and I can't recall the other one, but
the title track of our first album. Yeah, we wanted to go back. I personally wanted to go back and do a couple of the songs just because so many people have been saying they like the vocal direction more, and I really wanted to lay it down on some of those, especially the better songs of that album. And it's funny because Frozen Hell ended up on all the copies, and Awaiting Evil got lost somehow in the translation. It was supposed to end up on vinyl only, and then something happened with delays in manufacturing, and it's actually not as out there as I want it to be. So we might still do something with that.
I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but I have two computers that have iTunes on, and when I uploaded Fear Beyond Lunacy into both iTunes, it separated that last song into a different file.
That's weird. I didn't know that, but that's weird.
And I tried to go back in there, and I didn't know if it was because who was getting credit for what, or if there was just a little typo or something. And I tried for like an hour to try to fix it, and I couldn't.
No way. Yeah. See, it's the weirdest thing with that track, and it's really no one's fault. It's just we were on a tour again at that point, trying to get the record out, trying to get advanced copies of it to sound. I think somewhere in the mix, just translation got lost on that song. So I think we're going to try and do something with that again. I would like to showcase that because I thought that recording came out really good. So, but yeah, I'm glad somebody got that copy of it. There we go.
So let's talk about video work. You guys have done some really cool videos, and one of the videos that really kind of freaked me out was the one that you did with the serial killer video, and you start off that video with some footage from Rodney Alcala from California. And I remember, I kid you not, maybe like a few weeks ago, I saw a documentary on that dude. Okay. Yeah, so it was kind of freaky.
Yeah, man. That's actually my personal little thing. I just have like a really weird fascination with serial killers and crimes and stuff. I'm always looking that stuff up, always watching Forensic Files and all these weird shows like that. And it just seemed fitting to me, the songs about an individual who doesn't just go to hell but makes a grand entrance into it. And I'm like, well, who better than these people that, murder 50 people in their lifetime, And it was just like, I wanted something dark,
Terrors in Hell, right?
Tearing into Hell.
Tearing into Hell.
Yeah. There's a lot of the good American serial killers in there. Dahmer, Rodney Alcala,
Gacy's in there.
Yeah, all It was just it was a fun project to do, and it was cool to add a little shock value to it. So I was happy with the way it turned out. Actually, I'm glad people are getting a little freaked out about it. So
I like your videos because it also kind of showcases the band thrashing out. You guys are obviously great performers. Do you like doing videos?
I like the after. I like watching the video when it's done, but everything up into it is a fucking headache, man. It's a lot of takes, a lot of things that you don't think about, and at the end of the day, sometimes you're like, man, I looked goofy that whole time. I wonder, I wish somebody would have told me I looked like that or something. And it's you only end up with about like 20% of what you shot that's actually usable, because someone's doing something weird in something or off time. It takes a long time, man, but I like the end product. Yeah.
Julz, I can't thank you enough, sir.
Thank you very much.
Great interview. Thank you for your enthusiasm and for sharing so much about Hatchet. Any last words? Anything we missed? Anything you want to share with the people around the world who will see this interview?
Man, just check out Hatchet Official anywhere you can. Fear Beyond Lunacy. Pick up the album, download it, whatever you got to do. Legally download it, but then maybe download it if you like it. That's it. Basically, just come support. Come to the shows, man. We're gonna rock out for you. So, cool.
Awesome. Great chatting with you, man. Remember, everyone out there, you saw Julz Ramos right here from Hatchet, only on Robb's MetalWorks.